Welcome to another Running On Air video. So last weekend I went to the fair city of Bristol, or Machina Bristonica. I always find that a bit of a mouthful, but managed it that time. It's been a while since I've been to one of these electronic music technology trade shows, and I've got to admit I think it's probably the best one I've been to so far. I saw a lot of interesting stuff, and the vibe was pretty good throughout. I'm just going to start off by reviewing the footage that I got, which wasn't that much, to be honest. I guess this area could best be described as a sort of chill out space, and this was the main merch desk, and I think there were also some cheap modules going on the left there. Quite a lot of CRT displays around the place, which I thought was quite nice. There was this DIY area where you could buy a module and then build it yourself under the watchful gaze of the person that designed it. There's a lot of modular, which isn't really my area. It's not something that I'm naturally drawn to, but it certainly would have been absolutely heaven for anyone into modular. I think this was some kind of community project, Bristol-based community project. There were various talk rooms. This particular artist did a talk about reactive video to his music and gave a bit of a demo. And then there was the performance space. So, time to talk about the synths. So starting with the Sequential Fourm. Now I think the idea behind this is that it's sequential circuits but at an affordable price point. So there is some compromise, particularly in the number of voices. So it's 4-voice polyphonic, which is still enough to do quite a bit. It's also a small keyboard, which from a performance point of view isn't ideal, but it does have polyphonic aftertouch, which is an unusual combination. Now it's quite difficult to get a true idea of the sound. I would say it's a no-frills type synthesizer in that it doesn't have much in the way of effects, but on the other hand it is 100% analog, including the oscillators. So I would say, depending on what you've already got in your collection, this could fill a very useful gap. Anyway, I've left a link in the description if you want to check out the sounds. So I think this next one was probably the most fun I had on any of the equipment while I was there. So first of all, to cover the basics then, it is a 5-voice polyphonic synthesizer, but it can also be used in a round-robin mode, where you can change the character of each voice, therefore emphasizing certain notes, perhaps in an arpeggio or some kind of sequence. It certainly seems to have all of the features you would associate with a polyphonic synth, but it also has quite a lot more going in terms of effects. There is a built-in reverb. It also does a great deal with distortion and unusual modulation effects. I didn't really get the opportunity to explore it in great depth, but it is the sort of synth that will just draw you in. I could see myself setting the thing up and just playing with it for hours and getting musical ideas, sound ideas. I think it would be a great sound source, really useful tool for sound designers. I'd say that I'd happily find space for it within my studio, but unfortunately it's a little bit far out of my price range, so I'll have to find alternatives. Again, I'll leave a link if you'd like to check out the sounds. There's already quite a few demo videos that are worth looking at. I think you'll be quite surprised by what the thing can do. So I've always liked the look of this synth ever since I saw one a few years back. It has been out a while. So it was good to have another go on it and review my impressions of it. I'm not going to go into any depth here. It's clearly digital in a very sort of lively and fizzy way. Obviously based on the original PPG, but this has been expanded quite considerably. This is one synth that I would love to have in the studio, although at the moment I'm a bit stuck for space. But hopefully in the future I'll be able to get my hands on one. So strangely enough, I've never tried a Novation Mini Nova before, so this was a good opportunity. I know this has been out for ages, but I have been keeping an eye open for something that I might be able to use if I develop a live set. And I think something along these lines is probably the right thing to go for. I'm not sure there's much more I can say about it. You've probably already tried one. It's a perfectly good collection of sounds, and the microphone setup seemed to work quite well. It would be great for any lead lines that I wanted to do if I was doing live stuff. For the sort of stuff I do, then at least one keyboard is essential. A full-sized 5-octave thing is a bit of a pain to lug around, so something like this would be quite useful. Okay, so for one last one, we're looking at the Arturia Polybrute 12. This is a synth that's very much on my hit list. I liked the look of the original one, but it only had 6 voices, which I guess would have been enough. But now there's a 12-voice version, and that fixes that problem in my mind. I guess the main reason that this synth looks particularly good is because of the expression features that it has. You've got the expression bar at the side, and then there's the ribbon and also the keys themselves. So it's got a lot going for it from that point of view. And then of course you've got the patch matrix. Now that could open up all kinds of possibilities. And yeah, I'd be very happy to have one of these, there's no doubt about that. I suppose the other thing about it is the price isn't quite as eye-watering as you would expect. I think they're currently going for about €4,000, so in British pounds that's maybe 3,700. But that also means that the second-hand prices should be fairly reasonable as well. And compared to some of the other premium synthesizers like the new Prophet 5 and so forth, it's almost a budget synth. So that's my roundup of the event. Obviously this is nowhere near comprehensive, and it focuses on the sort of things I'm interested in. But hopefully it covers the key areas that I wanted to, i.e. the general vibe, but also a bit of the technology which attracted my attention. So I think I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and hopefully catch you on the next video. Bye.
There's a quiet kind of truth that only solitude can reveal. The noise of others in fast forward, while you remain in slow motion. A slamming door. An angry exchange. An overwhelming need for silence.